On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. We got some scandal. We've got some crazy news. Got a lot to talk about with the elections and the votes that have been cheated back in 2020. And, of course, before and after. We've got so much to talk about. A little bit of Epstein stuff mixed in there. Stuff going on in the world. You're going to enjoy it. I wanted to start with this. Someone shared this with me, and I just thought it was cool as hell. And they're like, there's no one else I can send this to, Dan, except you. I'm like, well, that's so very sad. When I thought about it and I watched it, I'm like, man, there's only one group of people I can share this with, and that's you guys. Oh, this is funny as hell. Check this out.
Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. The Somali waltz.
In Mogadishu, Minnesota, you might have heard there's quite a load of money missing, new millionaires, all the kids are leering in fake daycares. The Somali waltz, the Somali waltz, it's the same old song. The Somali waltz, it's sad but true. They're screwing you, dancing to the Somali waltz. Play your cards right, you could be governor. And if you need a green card, marry your brother. With liberal judges on the take, there's no fear of justice while they shimmy and they shake. The Somali waltz, the Somali waltz, it's the same old song. The Somali waltz, it's sad but true. They're screwing you, dancing to the Somali waltz. The Somali waltz, the Somali waltz, it's the same old song, and it's going strong. It's sad but true. They're screwing you, dancing to the Somali waltz. And coming soon to a state near you, new name saying to the Somali waltz.
Real American Voice shared that with us, but whoever this is, that chick's awesome. She did a great job. Beautiful job on that. So, yes, Somali Waltz. I love that song. All right, enough of the joking around kind of stuff. Let's get serious here, folks. Mila Joyce shared this, and this is, well, pretty cool. This actually made me feel a little strange, too. And kind of makes you wonder about Dan Bongino a little. Not trying to be mean to him. I think a lot of it for him was frustration that he couldn't actually do anything to make a difference, change stuff. Like, it's like running through molasses. All that said, Pete Hegseth's salary was an estimated $2.3 million in 2024. His new salary is $256,000. Janine Pirro made $5 million in 2024. Her new salary is $198,000. Sean Duffy made an estimated $1 million last year. His new salary is $253,000. They aren't in it for the money. They are in it for love of country. Pure patriots. Yeah, good people. Good people. Appreciate that. Now, I've got to share this because I've got a special thing that we're going to be offering. It's 24 hours only, it sounds like. But they called me up today. We had a little chit-chat. And my good friends at Feel Great, a.k.a. Unicity, a.k.a. OTFSpecial.com, we've got a special little deal that we're going to offer up. Now, first, I want to share a couple testimonies. We got a few, actually, and these are incredible. These are my people. Anyone that's been watching me do this, you've very, like, a couple, 3 months now, right? These are my people in my audience that have literally just recently started it. We've got S. Jones. I shared this one recently, but she said, thank you for doing the Unicity. I'm down 19 pounds. So excited, right? We've got Teresa, hey, Carson, sorry. Sorry I haven't checked in recently. I am doing great. I am on day 34, and I'm averaging 18.45 on my fasting. I am down 12.2 pounds as of today. I am so grateful that Dan brought this amazing product into my life, as well as all other people that are benefiting from it. Feel great really does make you feel great. Not making any of this up. These are my people that have tried this. Nana, you guys know Nana's little corner. I'll pull this one over because it's a little smaller. Hey, Dan, I went to my primary doctor today. Oh, my God, I'm so excited. I just made a video to post about it, but I haven't posted it yet. I did Nana's News tonight and talked about it there. So she's got a 9-minute video where she's talking about it. She got her A1C number down to 10.5. They're going to try to test her again. She's lost 13 pounds thus far, so she is moving in the right direction, and she's having a really, really good experience with it as well. So, again, a lot of people are noticing this working for them. I notice it working for me. I finally tried the balance, and it's amazing. It's a thick gel, and the recommendation is you once you get it mixed up, like immediately drink it and pound it and chug it. You don't want to like wait on it because it'll thicken more as you wait. It's almost like trying to drink Jell-O if you wait too long. So it's one of those things where what it's meant to do is, one, it brings in some fiber, but two, it's bringing in some science. And what it does is it's meant to go into your stomach before you eat. Then when you eat, the food goes down into this Jell-O. It's fibrous Jell-O. And what it does is it kind of coats your food, and it helps you actually process less of the carbohydrates that you normally would. And that's where you start to see a huge reduction in your sugar numbers, your A1C, and your glucose monitors, right? You see an enormous difference right there, because even just eating regular food, you're not doing anything different. You're literally mixing this in this drink. It's delicious. The lemon tastes like tea. It tastes like iced tea lemonade. It's delicious. I drink 2 of those a day. You just mix it in water. I drink it. You can drink it over time. That doesn't solidify or anything weird. I just pound it. It's just easier. I like it. It's delicious. And then the balance is one of the ones you want to pound it, and you do that right before you eat dinner. That's it. Now, they have talked, and this is one of the cool things too. They've got this new decaf Unimate. And I'll share a link with this in time here, but they've got this decaf Unimate. If you join on Unimate and actually like log in and stuff, you can shop other products. And if they ask you who sent you, of course say Dan RadioStyle. But there is a link. I'll even try to remember to throw it in the description today for this particular product. But it's a mint chocolate flavor. It's got lower caffeine. So this is a great afternoon kind of drink, one that's not going to keep you awake all night, and it's delicious. Everybody's raving about it. It tastes like mint chocolate brownie. It's like a dessert, yet it's still good for you, still giving you the Unimate benefits. So incredible stuff. That said, here's the deal that we've got going on, and I think you guys are going to be stoked. So obviously we know the product works, hearing all sorts of people tell us that. We've got an awesome promo going on. It's for you guys only. So the raffling of a Unicity Mega Pack is going to give one of you guys out there a chance to hit your health goals. And it's also contains a whole bunch of stuff. So first off, it contains 2 Feel Great packs, which means a pack is two of the Unimates, right? You get 2 of these because you do 2 a day, and then you do 1 balance. So you get 2 boxes of this, 1 box of balance. That is your pack, okay? So you get 2 packs. It's basically you pay for a 30-day supply. You end up in a raffle, and if you win, you're going to get an additional 60-day supply. They're also going to throw in 1 mint chocolate brownie decaf Unimate and 1 lemon decaf Unimate. It's like a $500 value for any one of you that actually puts an order in 24 hours. So as soon as you watch this video, if you've been kind of on the fence, well, it gets you a chance to get signed up for this raffle. Now, here's the thing. There's only going to be a few of you. It ain't going to be like hundreds of you that are going to come signing up today, but there will be, I don't know, I'm expecting more than 10. But everyone who purchases a Feel Great pack for the first time within the next 24 hours will receive 1 entry into the raffle. Now, here's the fun part. If you buy an additional pack for yourself, a spouse, a friend, a family member, or anyone else, you'll receive an additional entry for every single pack you buy. You don't have to do multiple orders. If you get like 3 packs, three packs, essentially 9 boxes, that's 3 raffle tickets. So this is an awesome deal for any of you guys that have been straddling the fence and are like, crap, might as well. It's worth it. Everybody's raving about it. This is making huge differences. People are losing weight. They're feeling amazing, and it's actually helping deal with our issues with our food, right? We've got so much insulin resistance. It's an amazing product. I've spent probably longer than I should, but I love this product. So otfspecial.com, otfspecial.com, and I should have a link below in the description box for the specific, the brownie, the decaf brownie. So I'll throw an extra link in there, and that'll actually already be tied to me, so you shouldn't have to fill anything weird out. All that said, amazing products, and they've got a sweet deal going on for you guys. Go to otfspecial.com, otfspecial.com, and you will be amazed at how you feel. And I'll tell you what, feeling great's exactly what it is, especially if you have some of this dessert going on. Yeah, so check that link out. I'll provide that in the code below. Oh, they actually did give me the... All right, cool. I just managed to copy the link, so that's definitely in the description below for this Unicity, and it ties straight back to the OTF account. So that's, of course, who you want to say sent you, OTF, not Dan RadioStyle. Nonetheless. So, all right, we got a lot of crazy to talk about here. Sedition to start with, because this is frankly what we're heading out of. But the sedition, the conspiracy, all this stuff. Johnny Midnight shares this. Democrats' Intelligence Committee staffers turned whistleblower testified under oath, exposed that while sitting in classified meetings, Adam Schiff and his buddy, Eric Swallowwell, approved leaking classified information in an effort to trigger a special counsel or select committee in Congress to overthrow the United States government. Literally trying to get a special counsel or something that would literally cause Trump to be removed. They were literally trying to create and leak information for that purpose. That's illegal. It's very illegal. We also got this. Rep. Barry Loudermilk just implied that a member of the J6 Unselect Committee may have been involved with Arctic frost. I'm going to play this one. Check this one out.
What are we to make of the Chris Wray era? What do you make of the Chris Wray era now that you've seen so much of this weaponization evidence?
Right. The Chris Wray era was totally political. It was political warfare. And one of the things I'm interested in finding out was just how broad was Operation Arctic Frost. You know, we're starting to uncover some things there. There may be some evidence out there that this extended all the way into Congress, that there was investigation and political weaponization against members of Congress that may even have ties with the Select Committee on January 6th. And so we're looking in that direction because I think there may be something to this idea that Arctic frost spanned much further than just within the executive branch and with Donald Trump. And so this was a complete weaponization on political bias. If you can't defeat someone at the polls, if you can't defeat a Republican at the poll, then you totally destroy that individual. This is exactly what it was happening in Arctic frost. This is what's happening with weaponization. And I guarantee you, and I can even show you evidence that this happened within the Select Committee on January 6th. Just talk to Stefan Passantino. They went to destroy this attorney who was just doing his job, but they didn't like the way he was doing it because he was trying to get to the truth. He was telling his client to tell the truth, and they literally went after him to destroy his entire life. And so this idea of weaponization spans way beyond the FBI and the DOJ and even comes in here into Congress.
Yeah, so it is coming out. This is going to be a huge part of what this year is all about. Elections and everything else, I get it. We're worried. We're worried about who's going to win 2 years from now. That's really missing the point. Also getting stuck on a lot of these other little side stories and holes. Ultimately, what it's coming down to is the conspiracy that happened, the cheating in the votes. All of this needs to come to everyone's attention. The normies need to hear it. That is going to destroy the parts of the uniparty. Essentially, uniparty people are going to be exposed and destroyed. Epstein's helping with that. All this stuff with the vote is helping with that. All this stuff with the Arctic frost and J6 is helping with that. Donald Trump retruthed this. January 6th was a setup. Destroyed exculpatory evidence. Inserted fictitious audio into J6 video. Avoided key witnesses like the chief of Capitol Police. Removed Republicans from the committee. Televised hearings on prime time to influence the public. It was a giant, made-up piece of nonsense. So cleaning stuff up is something that we obviously need to do, and this is what's happening and what's going to happen through clean elections. I kind of want to sort of preface, but we've got some interesting news articles around this. Mike Netter posted this. Breaking, new poll revealed as President Trump continues his aggressive mass deportation policy, his highest approval rating by far is with Hispanic voters. There is a message in there somewhat about the real nature of illegal immigration from the people who know more about it than anyone else. Trump's approval among Hispanics just skyrocketed, plus 28 points. Hispanic Trump approval at 54% per Rasmussen. Rasmussen's poll numbers prove the obvious. Illegal Americans demand enforcement. Mass deportations isn't chaos, isn't consequence. Break the law, face removal. Want to contribute? Enter legally. Polls show overwhelmingly 83% back deporting illegal criminal illegals. Criminal illegals specifically. Illegals too, a lot of people. The number's surprisingly high there too. So the fake news is ridiculous. Everyone knows that. Hopefully, at least in my audience who's listening to me. If you're new to my audience, yeah, guess what? News media is lying to you. That shouldn't be a surprise, but it is. So this is interesting. Now, the term Hispanics can mean a lot of different people. Cubans can be a part of that, obviously. But there's people that have come here legally. They don't like the idea of people skipping in front of them. Also, one of the things they're most proud of when they become citizens is they get the right to vote. That comes with citizenship. You get the right to vote when you become a citizen. If you are not a citizen, you don't get to vote. You don't get a say. We don't give a shit what you think. Come in legally. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love you to be a part of this country, but you're going to be like everyone else that immigrates here legally. You're going to become an American, and you're going to be proud to be an American. You'll have American flags in your house. You'll wear patriotic colored clothing, red, white, and blue to be specific, on the 4th of July. You will love this country, and you will go in and vote legally with pride. You're not somebody that's here from another country, brandishing their flag wherever you go, wearing their colors wherever you go, claiming to be from that country, but here, oddly, no. Very different. And most people don't support the illegal component. That's not immigration. That's illegals coming here and stealing our resources, frankly. Maybe not 100% of you, but a lot of you. Feds have charged 158 anti-ICE agitators with federal crimes in Minnesota. I'm sure they're going to let them, like 80% of them walk. But they've busted a bunch. Interesting statistic that's out. Ohioans, they have a 1.13% chance of being abducted by aliens, a study finds. Now, I mean, to put that in a stupid way, like if you went out 100 times, one of those times is very likely you're going to get abducted. I mean, you got a 1.13 chance. I mean, really, that's not how those statistics actually work, but to simplify it greatly, a 1% chance, though. That means of the 100 days that you just went out in public, not paying attention, got earbuds in, you're walking, whatever you do, one of those days you might just have someone pull over with a panel van and pull you right into it or whatever they do. It's crazy. So yeah, they are ranked 21st in the nation for alien abduction odds. Good job. Good job, Ohio. Proud of you guys. It's got to be 21st at something, I guess. We got some voting stuff to talk about. Good news, bad news, everything in between. I think it's mostly good. Donald Trump truth this Elon Musk post, and he was sharing this skiff article. Cool. I just wanted to make sure I didn't have it open separately. So essential to stop fraud in elections. The skiff was saying, Elon is right. Banning mail-in voting is critical to avoiding fraud in our elections. During the 2020 election, Pennsylvania sent out 1,823,148 mail-in ballots, but received back around 2.5 million mail-in ballots. This accounts for Biden's fraudulent and impossible 682,000 plus vote spike, which were counted with no observers and were all for Biden, which magically just happened to be enough to steal Trump's almost 700,000 vote lead in Pennsylvania before swing states shut down counting locations at the same time to steal the 2020 election. PA's own Secretary of State website then wiped the 2.5 million mail-in ballot number after the total number was questioned. Trump won the 2020 election in a landslide. I think we've actually got this right here. Check this out.
Our team has looked at these systems, and there are a dozen ways to interdict the voting process in these issues, whether it's mail-in ballot manipulations. They can scan and allocate votes, blank votes, whether it was the 70,000 votes left in the back room. There's just lots of ways to interdict these systems. So with that, I'll answer any potential questions.
Thank you. Next panel, please.
Could I just
Yes, sir.
ask him to clarify one or two things? When we look at this Pennsylvania fixing the vote chart that they all have, could you explain at the very beginning what that line means, Biden injection?
So at the very beginning of the chart, where there's a circle that says on election day, what that indicates is there is a spike in loaded votes, 337,000 plus or minus some votes that were added in there in one big batch. So that was an anomaly in the reporting. Normally you would expect to see a smooth curve going up, not any big spikes. That's kind of what Greg was talking about, the anomalies of loading and uploading those votes. So that big spike that occurs there is a prime indicator of fraudulent voting.
And that's 604,000 votes in 90 minutes, is that right?
Correct. This is 337 votes, 337,000 votes in that
period of time?
Yes.
And when you look at this entire curve with all these spikes, can you calculate how much of a vote that accounted for Biden and how much for Trump?
Close to 600,000. I think our figures were about 570 some odd thousand that all those spikes represent over time.
For Biden?
Correct.
And how much for Trump?
I think it was a little over 3,200.
Now, just to go back to your original document, this one pager that they all have. Mail-in ballots counted without being observed. Those are the ballots we were talking about that were not observed in Allegheny County and in Philadelphia.
Correct.
Is that right? 682,770. Now, this is the part that is a mystery. Mailed ballots sent out, 1,823,148. But when you go to the count of the final count of the vote, there are 2,589,242 mail-in ballots. What happened? How do you account for the 700,000 mail-in ballots that appeared from nowhere?
So our cyber team uses white hat hacking techniques. They gather a lot of publicly available information, and that information was from the Secretary of State's website. That website has been updated as late as 11/16 this morning with provisional and mail-in ballots, so those numbers are still changing. They changed last night, so it's a continual target.
This is 22 days after the election.
That number, the 2.5 million number is no longer on the website.
Just been taken off?
It's not there anymore.
Is there any explanation for why it's been taken off?
There was no annotations.
But has there been a change made in the 2,589,242 mail-in votes that have been counted in the total vote?
I'd have to check the Secretary of State's website as of.
And could you also
after
check and see,
11/16.
is there any change in the 1,823,148 ballots that were sent out?
The mail-out ballots number seems to be holding steady.
And was there any other method of producing ballots other than sending them out?
Not that we're aware of, unless as previous witnesses have testified that the potential for multiple ballot counts. So ballots could have been.
Have you ever
counted
gotten a
twice.
chance to examine any of these ballots?
No, that would be part of the forensic process. One suggestion, whoever does the analysis is using paper and ink analysis with a micro photo spectrometer. That would analyze the ink on those ballots to see if they were mass produced.
So in addition to the 682,770 ballots that were entered without a single inspection of any kind, there also appear to be something like 700,000 ballots, mail-in ballots, that were never sent out, that were counted.
There are noted discrepancies in the
That's a
Secretary of
pretty
State's
big
report.
discrepancy.
Something a lot of people don't know, just most people don't know, is photocopy machines have a unique identifier. Not just the machine itself, everything's got a MAC address and stuff like that, which is probably tied into its unique identifier. But printing done with those, or copies made, there is telltale signs. Exactly what it was printed from, and when, and how. There's a lot of little interesting things that they can forensically tell from looking at some of these ballots. And I don't think they realize it. Obviously, the powers that were do. That's why they're freaking out about the fact that they took those 656 boxes from Fulton County. So, again, more and more crazy is happening. We got some more whistleblower action talking about electronic voting machine changing votes overnight in Nevada. I'll hopefully get this to load up. There we go. Let's fire this up. Check it out.
Clark County technical employees came forward completely independent of each other and explained that they discovered that the number of votes recorded by voting machines and stored on USB drives would change between the time the polls were closed at night and when they were reopened the next morning. In other words, votes were literally appearing and disappearing in the dead of night. When we attempted to verify the integrity of these voting machines, we were allowed only a useless visual inspection of the outside of a USB drive. We were denied a forensic examination. Finally,
Yeah, they can't let us see it. They can't let us know the truth, right? And it's funny, it's like, for them, it's like, yeah, but that's like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, man. Why don't you guys just move on? It's like, no, we need to prove what you all have been doing. Otherwise, it's going to make it impossible what we're about to do. You see, if we can show that you've been doing this every 2 years, essentially, or every single election, most likely, but that you've been continuing this process, well, it's very important that we establish a baseline. And everybody knows Trump won the 2020 election and that it was stolen. We all watched it get stolen in front of our eyes. Dr. Jan, election advocate, has put this out. Said, thank you, DNI Gabbard, and thank you, AG Pam Bondi. Do not return Fulton County ballots and election documents to Fulton County until they have all been copied, reviewed, and investigated. Too many questions to answer. Missing ballot box tabulator tapes. Unsigned, non-certified tabulator tapes. Missing ballot images. Altered ballot image files. Missing SHA files. Missing memory card data. Missing absentee ballot envelopes. Thousands of double-scanned ballots. Thousands of double-counted ballots, and more than 700 minus 656, which equals almost 50. There's 50 boxes of election documents that Fulton County did not provide to the FBI. Where are those? Where are those 50 boxes? What's in those? So there is way too many questions. Now, this is a big part of why Tulsi Gabbard was there. This was a national security issue. This wasn't just a regular FBI raid. This was a national security raid. And see, courts have different powers when it comes to that. It's not being broadcast to us, but courts have different powers when it comes to something like national security. DNI Gabbard being there it validated it. It made it real. It made it legit. Rep. Nancy Mace announced she had filed an amendment to Save America Act to accelerate the bill's voter ID requirements so they would apply to the elections beginning November 1st, 2026. The legislation introduced by Rep. Chip Roy and Senator Mike Lee is expected to receive a vote in the House this week as an updated version of the SAVE Act. We'll see if it comes through. Here's Speaker Johnson talking about the SAVE Act and the nonsense going on with the deep state.
Support because it is just common sense. Americans need an ID to drive, to open a bank account, to buy cold medicine, to file government assistance. As is noted by the leader, you even need an ID to attend events of most Democrat politicians and even the Democrat National Convention. So why would voting be any different than that? They can't answer that question. And so they come up with all these crazy excuses of why they can't support it. They've attempted so many arguments to oppose the passage of this simple legislation. First,
yeah, they do make up a lot of stuff. So we're seeing it play out, and they're just going to end up looking like tards in the end. We see it coming. President Trump saying Republicans need to win in a landslide. Check it out.
Can you beat history on these midterm elections? Carry the House and the Senate for the GOP. Can you do it on the economy? Do you need more communication? Do you need more marketing? Do you need more help? I mean, the numbers are on your side. The question is, does the public know this?
Well, you know, we have a fake news that doesn't get the word out. That's why I love doing an interview. We get the word out. But so you ask a question. In 50 years, a president that's won, even a popular president, somebody that's done well. I'm popular and I've done well. I mean, I think we have the greatest economy actually ever in history. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. That's said by everybody. We have the hottest country in the world. I guess I have to sell that because we should win in a landslide, and we'll do everything we can to do it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Again, I think we will. I think the elections are going to be a huge part of that, and getting the voting machines and stuff like that fixed. A lot of that is going to be how this all plays out with this rigging of elections, and us, I think, really rippling that effectively. That, I think, is one of the most important things that we're going to have on our plates. Yeah, Epstein's cool, and that's dropping a lot of information. Whether he's alive or dead's kind of a waste of time. I think he could be alive. I don't know, right? Wouldn't surprise me if he's dead either, frankly. I don't know, right? I know people are like very set on that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The information that's coming out matters. If he's alive, who knows if he shared anything. Ghislaine Maxwell's still alive. She's pretty knowledgeable, and many are suggesting she might even be the handler. One of the main reasons why it wouldn't surprise me if Epstein's dead, because they got Ghislaine, or Ghislaine, as I like to call her. Minnesota GOP gubernatorial candidate suspends campaign after daughter found stabbed to death. He's since dropped out. I actually sent this story to basically to Mike for through his MyPillow, his assistant and his media assistant lady, both very wonderful people. So I sent them the story. I'm like, please keep Mike safe. This guy was the Republican Party running for the governor, and his daughter was killed. Suffered self-inflicted wounds, they're saying, but that's what they're saying. Odds are, if she died in some sort of murder kind of way, it would look really mysterious, wouldn't it? And he's probably not going to say anything. House Oversight Chairman's pressing Ilhan Omar's husband over concerning spike in wealth. They're actually looking into this, so we're going to see. Their wealth went up a bunch in like 1 year. Went up like from like $51,000 in 2023, and then suddenly it's worth $30 million in 2024. That's insane. Obviously, pay to play. We know how Ilhan Omar had that one line that was in one of the bills, and they managed to wipe it out, and that was $1 million going to something. Who wants to bet she's done those types of things a bunch of times and managed to funnel some of that money straight into her husband's company? Very strange. Now, he's actually got two companies. Mynet's firms are Et St. Croix, or something to that effect, LLC, and Rose Lake Capital. Rosemont, Rose Lake, Rose Seneca. Funny how many different Rose kind of things there are. It's very strange how that all plays out. But Rose Lake Capital LLC, they were all valued small amounts. They're digging into this stuff. Jackson Purefirst, he's a mayor of Cross Lake, Minnesota, says a third audit has uncovered 14 high-risk Minnesota programs that could potentially involve up to $1 billion more in just Minnesota.
To you. So do please tell us, what have you uncovered there?
Thank you, Sandra. So we've seen just in the last recent month this fraud take off with federal investigators flooding the state of Minnesota, as this is a huge concern. Just last week, we had another third-party independent investigated auditing team audit the state of Minnesota, and they came up with 14 high-risk programs that could estimate up to another $1 billion in fraud alone. Fraud is impacting every citizen in the state of Minnesota, and especially city budgets. As Minnesota state government inflates their budgets, on top of the fraud, that shrinks the city's ability to be able to tax their citizens if we need to do a project just to operate normal services in our communities.
So you and other mayors are banding together, and that number is apparently growing by the day. You're banding together. You're calling for accountability and reform. You want to clean up the state. But the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, says, there's nobody implicated in any of this.
Yeah, nobody. I mean, they are. It's going to be painful for them, and it's going to exist in many other places, and probably to much, much larger amounts of money. Minnesota woman locked up for $325,000 SNAP fraud. It's just one lady, $325,000. 39-year-old Minnesotan. She's going to get a year in jail for this. Been convicted. I don't know if they got the money back. I don't know if they say it in there. It doesn't matter. LA taxpayers spent $418 million on homeless programs in 2025. $418 million on homeless programs didn't make a dip at all in homelessness because they don't care about that part of it. This money just goes into just helping them with needs, not putting them in any sort of housing, not getting them off the street, not putting them into a place that, is better. Nope. They're just continuing to pay for it. This is money that's being wasted. Nothing's really being accomplished with it. Homelessness is, again, I've talked to, it's a very complex problem, but it's not as simple as most people want. There's basically three kinds of homeless people. It's literally one that wants to get off the street, and then you've got crazy and drug users that just, they're going to probably die on the street. That's just, they don't want to get off. You could literally put them in a house, and they'd be like that one, I don't know if you guys heard the story about that kid that used to be some Nickelodeon star or whatever the hell it was. And one of his co-stars found him on the street and put him in a hotel. Dude ended up trashing the hotel. Trashed the hotel. Judge Tracy Davis just cut in half a 65-year recommended prison sentence for rapist kidnapper. She portrayed him as a black victim. Even he wasn't buying it. I don't know. I guess we'll play it. We'll see if it's worth it.
But Judge Davis thought the jury's recommendation was too long. She feels he hasn't mentally matured yet and never had a real shot at getting any help early in life.
But if you were to come in here and instead of being hurt and angry, which is what this court hears, right, as a 20-year-old African-American male that has been, experienced this society, etc., and you would show that, yes, okay, this is the situation. This is who I am. I don't want to be this person anymore. I don't want to be in jail for forever.
Thompson repeatedly stated he did not care, not about his sentence, the victim, or her family. But Judge Davis emphasized she's the one that holds the pen, and regardless of what the media may think, she applies the law. To her, 65 years was an extremely long time. As she puts it, it's his whole life, one she doesn't believe should be spent entirely behind bars.
This court does not believe that Mr. Thompson, if given the resources that he can get while incarcerated, is beyond being rehabilitated.
First off, prison doesn't rehabilitate. It's just statistically horrible at it. And second off, all she wants to do is let him out so he can commit more crimes. Because that's ultimately what's going to happen. So, yeah, judges taking it upon themselves. Where's she at anyway? I don't know where. Judge Louisville, Kentucky, I guess. So we've got a fun little exodus happening. It's kind of interesting. Zuckerberg, he is following many of the billionaires from California, and he's heading off into other lands. Removing his home here is what people are suggesting. And this is kind of catching Gavin Newsom a little bit off guard, actually. Like, he's stayed quiet on this whole bill that they were trying to push through. And he's just kind of stayed quiet. He sort of said, I don't know how I feel about it. And he's like, no, we shouldn't do it. But they're still moving forward with it. He's been oddly quiet. And because of that, many people are literally losing. Now, one of the statistics that's been put out is with Zuck's move to Florida, California's total taxable wealth from billionaires has plummeted to well under $1 trillion from over $2 trillion just a few weeks ago. They've literally lost over $1 trillion of revenue that they were hoping to get. $1 trillion. Now, of course, they're going to probably try to go after these people, which is going to demonstrate the illegality of the California government. They've done that kind of stuff to a lot of people. Just the fact that they're doing this wealth tax is insane. And everyone's like, it's only billionaires. It's like, yeah, but then it's going to be you and me next. It's always how it is. It never stops where they say it's going to stop. It never stops. They never take taxes away. You ever notice that? Never. They were only supposed to be temporary for the war. Yeah, here we are. Highest taxed one of the highest taxed individuals in this nation from the standpoint of, you know, the percentage and the state I'm in. Like California and New York, we have extraordinarily high taxes here too. So on top of all that, they rape you, right? So we breaking down California's insane Super Bowl tax. This is California once again. Sam Darnold just won the Super Bowl and lost $71,000 because it was in California. Boomer Esiason explains why the players should block any future Super Bowls in California.
For winning the Super Bowl, the winning team, each player gets $178,000. In other words, the Super Bowl isn't a part of their salary. And because the game was played in California, and California has a jock tax, and they look at duty days, so each team spends 7 days in the state of California. So those are 7 duty days, and they pierce your regular salary at 3.5%. So he has to pay, when you take into account he got the $178,000 plus his overall salary, he has to pay the state of California for spending 7 days there $249,000.
That's just so stupid. I mean,
Yeah,
it really is.
but it ends up costing him $71,000 to go play in California. Now, if I'm the NFLPA, now you got to remember, it's probably even more than that because since he's in Seattle, he's playing against San Francisco 49ers. So that's another day he's there. And he's playing against the LA Rams. That's another day he's there. So he's probably had like 9 or 10 duty days, or maybe even more than that in the state of California. So if I'm the NFLPA, I'm like, hey, we're not playing any more Super Bowls in California. We're just not doing it.
Smart move. I mean, it's bad enough that these guys, I mean, again, like feel bad. Oh, they're a bunch of rich people. Still, man, if you're top athlete, $178,000 to go play, and over 100% of it's taken from you. That's pretty fudged up. So yeah, California's blowing it. Judge blocks California's law mandating federal agents remove masks. They blocked that. They kind of left the other one going. I think that was the one that said they had to have their identification or whatever. That one maybe is still moving forward, or they didn't try to block that or whatever. But agents are being doxxed. California's losing a lot of these lawsuits, big time. Apparently, Tren de Aragua is becoming dominant cartel in Mexico City. That's something to keep in mind as we likely start to move towards these groups. And this is a big part of, I think, some of the issues we're having in this country right now is it's not that there's Mexicans here, that there's a lot of criminal Mexicans here as well as other countries. Those people got to go, especially the ones that are tied to gangs and gangbangers. And so we're going to see some craziness start to play out. A little bit of Epstein news. One, an email. This is regarding Bill Clinton. We don't know who it's from. We don't know who it was to. We're assuming it was, this bottom one is from Andy K. This is the one everyone's kind of tripping on down here. Hi, so-and-so. I know the former President Bill Clinton made 32 plane trips to Jeffrey Epstein Island. Is there any reason why he is not being interviewed and charged? Regards, Andy K. Now, again, I don't know how he knows that. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but interesting nonetheless. Howard Lutnick explains his relationship with Epstein while he was planning a meeting. I'm going to go ahead and play this because everyone's trying to play him up to be a bad guy. Again, a lot of people, just because they went to the island doesn't necessarily mean they're pedophiles. Here's an example. I think you may disagree.
Why did the Epstein files show you coordinating a meeting and planning a visit with Jeffrey Epstein on his private island in December 2012?
Thank you for the question. I'm glad to be here to make it clear that I met Jeffrey Epstein when I moved to a house next door to him in New York, right? And I met him then. Over the next 14 years, I met him 2 other times that I can recall. 2 times. And that is none for 6 years. So 6 years later, I met him. And then a year and a half after that, I met him, and never again. Probably the total, and you've seen all of these documents, of these millions and millions of documents, there may be 10 emails connecting me with him, probably about 10 emails connecting me with him over a 14-year period. I did not have any relationship with him. I barely had anything to do with that person, okay?
Secretary Lutnick, I think you understand the root of concern here. It's the way you described very emphatically your first encounter with him in his apartment, said you were disgusted, would never have any contact with him again. Did you, in fact, make the visit to Jeffrey Epstein's private island?
I did have lunch with him as I was on a boat going across on a family vacation. My wife was with me, as were my 4 children and nannies. I had another couple they were there as well with their children, and we had lunch on the island. That is true, for an hour, and we left with all of my children, with my nannies and my wife, all together. We were on family vacation. We were not apart. To suggest there was anything untoward about that in 2012, I don't recall why we did it, but
Mr. Secretary, again, as I said, there's not an indication that you yourself engaged in any wrongdoing with Jeffrey Epstein. It's the fact that you believe that you misled the country and the Congress based on your earlier statements, suggesting that you cut off all contact when in fact you had not. When you visited the private island, did you see anything inappropriate during that visit?
the only thing I saw with my wife and my children and the other couple and their children was staff who worked for Mr. Epstein on that island.
And you realize that, you know, this visit took place after he had been convicted, right? I mean, you made a very big point of saying that you sensed that this was a bad person in 2005. And then, of course, in 2008, he was convicted of soliciting prostitution of a minor. And yet you went and had this trip and other interactions. Did you have a dinner in Epstein's New York City home in 2011?
No.
So the information that suggests that there was a dinner with Woody Allen and Woody Allen's spouse at the Epstein residence, there's nothing to that, is that right?
I actually don't know what you're referring to. There was, look, I looked through the millions of documents for my name, just like everybody else. And what I found was there was a document that says that I had a meeting with him on, in May, I think, for an hour at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Not dinner or otherwise, for an hour at 5 o'clock.
All right. There's also a reference to the fact that Epstein had expressed an interest in meeting your nanny. Do you know whether Jeffrey Epstein ever met with your nanny?
No, I saw that. I had no idea what that was about. It had nothing to do with me,
No
as far as
interaction
I
at
know.
all with him on that?
No, as far as I know, no.
Would you, Mr. Secretary, be willing to ensure that the file is complete to share with this committee and the Congress your own records, any records you have that relate to Jeffrey Epstein?
I will surely talk about that. I hadn't thought about that. I have nothing to hide. Absolutely nothing.
Again, I mean, I was expecting him to do better on that, but I also wasn't aware of how much crap they had against him. We'll see. I don't know. I like him. Makes me think of a number of strange things. One popped up, Godlewski. Anybody listens to him or is listening to him, it's like the same thing. The dude's convicted pedophile, right? So that, granted, he's trying to get that expunged, and I'm not trying to be a dick to him. It's just an example of someone that's extraordinarily popular that people still listen to. I think there are a lot of people that have had accusations made against them, and even maybe been friends with people that are criminal or reformed criminals, for that matter. Again, I'm not trying to justify, but at the same time, a lot of us live in glass houses, or all of us do, frankly. And it's just, I don't know. A lot of people take this stuff very black and white. It's cool. I'm just kind of rolling with it. I kind of take life very differently than most, so it's meh. Again, Lutnick, I don't think, did well on that. Hopefully he survives this. We'll see. Epstein jail guards, I guess, used a fake body to trick the media. Had boxes and some stuff, I guess, shoved into the truck that everybody followed, and then they supposedly used another vehicle to actually transport the body. I say supposedly because, again, if he's alive, then obviously that wasn't his body. But if he was dead, then there you go. So that's how they did that. Court orders surgeons, the surgeon and a psychologist both got ordered to pay $2 million in damages for transitioning a minor. This 16-year-old underwent double mastectomy at 16, identifying as transgender. The jury awarded her $1.6 million in damages for pain and suffering and $400,000 for future medical expenses. This is a pretty big deal as far as a verdict goes. This is going to set some precedents for people that are involved in transitioning children. You will be held accountable, and many of these people that transition are very, very sad afterwards. And if they know there's a way that they can get money for it, well, it's funny. The people that are trying to transition them, we're always trying to do it for this social experiment, for this ball thing that they are doing. Well, wouldn't it be funny if they got financially reprimanded for doing such things? That would be very interesting to see that happen. And again, for the kids, as everyone says. DOJ moves to dismiss Bannon's J6 conviction indictment. They're pushing us up to the Supreme Court. We'll see if that happens. Here's Donald Trump talking again with what's his face, Kudlow, I guess his name is, and he is talking about the insane GDP growth that is very well expected if or when this new chief of the Fed comes in. It'd be kind of cool.
When did you, in your heart and mind, when did you know you wanted Kevin Warsh?
So
officially, it was 2 Fridays ago. But when did you?
Well, I made a mistake. He was runner-up, if you want to say that.
He was a finalist.
Yeah, he was, and I made a mistake because I had somebody that was my Secretary of the Treasury, wanted him so badly, and I didn't feel good about him. But sometimes you listen to people, and it was a mistake. It was really a big mistake. But I think we're going to do something that's really spectacular. We should be at 15%. I'll tell you, if our new head of the Fed, who I think is going to be great, and he's a really high quality person, but if he does the job that he's capable, we can grow at 15%. I think more than that.
Yeah, we've got a lot of potential growth for this country. We just got to get through this hump, and man, I hope we get the Fed out of there, frankly. That's one of the things I very much want to see happen. We'll see how it goes. I'll take a quick refresh on the big picture here. Let's see. Gold's down a little bit. That's good news for the big picture, obviously. Dow's up a little more today. Everything's down a little in general. Oil's down. Gold's down. Silver's down about $1.60. It's still at $80. I'm sure it's going to pop back up tomorrow like it always does. It's a weird roller coaster we're on. Oh, Bitcoin's up a teeny bit now. It was down a little bit earlier, but it's at 68. It's trying to hold on. XRP is dying a slow, painful death, it seems. That's kind of fun. I don't really follow the others at all. Some of you may. They're on the screen. But all that said, things are changing. They're transitioning. I would just recommend divesting some of your money out of that 401k because you're losing buying power every day. I would divest some of that money out and protect that buying power, and that's exactly what gold and silver does. Silver's kind of more of a multiplier right now. It's going up in value, and we're expecting it to hit 200 to 300 easy. Some have even said a little higher. And I'll probably have that financial guy on, Peter, again. He just sent me his book that he signed. That was pretty cool. But that said, gold protects your wealth. Silver, you're going to kind of make a little extra wealth on, but this protects your buying power. Protect it. Make sure you've still got the same abilities that you have right now. And I don't mean what you had 5 years ago. I don't mean what you had yesterday. I mean what you have right now, or at the point when you sign the paperwork and it goes into action. As of that point, the buying power is locked in. So something to keep in mind. If anything over, up to 10% free silver. That's one of the great things that Goldco's offering up. And also they're doing it tax-free, penalty-free. They're moving it sideways. 401ks and IRAs are always pre-tax money. So if they give it to you in any way, shape, or form, be it coins or money, that's a payout, and you get paid and taxed heavily. So paid, penalized if you're underage too, so not a good idea. You move it sideways. These guys will help you do it tax-free, penalty-free, as much of it as they can. They're also going to give you up to 10% free silver, and that is, again, the great, beautiful part. And you can also have this paid out to you in precious metals if you so desire. You have physical metals. They're in a vault. They're yours. They are yours. This isn't paper contracts or any stupid stuff like that. It's legitimate physical metals. Go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Put in these 4 data points. Hit the send me my kit. And I think a little pop-up timer thing will say, hey, give this number a call in 20 minutes. And it'll start counting down. And you'll likely get this free Ronald Reagan coin. It's a half ounce, 0.999%. It's a collector coin. It's got Ronald Reagan saluting on the front. It's super cool. The last true good president, many would say. So, again, go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of that system while you can, because they certainly want to take that money away from you. Semaphore posted this. EPA is going to rescind a landmark U.S. climate policy. This is pretty cool. Trump administration plans to rescind this 2009 EPA endangerment finding, declaring greenhouse gases a public health risk, dismantling the foundation for federal emissions regulations on vehicles and power plants. Look at that money that's being shut down. All the people that are going to cry, the lawsuit that's going to come, Trump can't shut this down. It's a major rollback. It could spark state-level regulations and Supreme Court battles limiting future climate mandates amid automakers like Stellantis facing EV market losses. We're getting rid of all that crap. And this is what's going to be funny, is it's going to be an equalizer. So any country that's making stuff that maybe they can't sell into Europe because Europe sucks, well, they can probably sell it into here. And we'll probably buy it. Because, we won't have those problems. And again, if you like the car, if you don't, A lot of stuff going on in the world. That is for shizzle. We had a new operation taking narco-terrorists, killed 2 and actually left 1 alive, and they, I guess, sent a Coast Guard cutter to go try to save that live person so we don't have any more mishaps like the infamous Hegseth issue we had at that one time, right? I'm not blaming him. It's just he's the one that kind of fell on the sword a little bit, and then he sort of blamed who the admiral was or whatever, but anyway. Oh, yeah, I guess it doesn't make any noise, so easy enough. I always trip on the parts they blur out. I don't understand why they're blurring stuff. What is being shown? That is, and normally it's a little small square. I always figured it was the targeting reticle, but that time we could see that. Though it didn't seem like it was accurately lasing at that place. Whatever. U.S. military is hunting down boards another vessel. This is in the Indian Ocean, guys. This was the one that ran away. Do you guys remember the one they were gonna board? And it ran away? They found it. They caught up to it. They took it. Yeah, they took it in the middle of the night, too. Supposedly nobody was hurt or anything like that, but they took it in the middle of the night. This is the last one they took. This was a different ship, I believe. This picture, I believe, is a different ship, because the ones they talked about, they stealthily boarded the tanker overnight in the Indian Ocean. The other one we watched, they boarded it during the day. So I'm thinking this is another one. This article, I think, does a very poor job with the images and this post. The Achilles. No, this can't be when you guys got it, because that's the freaking daytime. They're like an overnight attack. How do you call it? All right, we already talked about this yesterday. It got me with the overnight thing. Whatever. Maybe they said, I don't know. That's kind of a weird choice of words. Stupid. I got faked out on a story I've already done. Damn it. All right, whatever. Where's our help? Ohio workers are freaking out about a Chinese factory killing jobs. This Chinese glass factory that they allowed into the state eons ago. Good job, Ohio. You got a 1.1 chance of being abducted by an alien. But this Chinese glass company, and one, I guess it's a big deal in Ohio. The glass making is like a big thing. They've been the best at glass of all different kinds. They've got all this crazy long-running glass factories and shit. This Fuyao is what I want to call it. It's probably Fuyao. It's a glass company. China has been subsidizing it. So the Chinese government is giving this company money so it can undersell everybody here in the United States. Now, what's funny is, this is hopefully going to stop, and we'll see what happens, but what's interesting is what Canada's doing, and you'll kind of tie the two together, but here's Trump's truth kind of in regards to that. He says, as everyone knows, the country of Canada has treated the United States very unfairly for decades. Now, things are turning around for the USA, and fast. But imagine, Canada is building a massive bridge between Ontario and Michigan. They own both the Canada and the United States side and, of course, built it with virtually no U.S. content. President Barack Hussein Obama stupidly gave them a waiver so they could get around the Buy American Act and not use any American products, including our steel. Now, the Canadian government expects me, as President of the United States, to permit them to just take advantage of America. What does the United States of America get? Absolutely nothing. Ontario won't even put U.S. spirits, beverages, and other alcoholic products on their shelves. They are absolutely prohibited from doing so. And now, on top of everything else, Prime Minister Carney wants to make a deal with China, which will eat Canada alive. We'll just get the leftovers. I don't think so. The first thing China will do is terminate all ice hockey being played in Canada. No idea what that's about, but I can't wait to hear somebody that's got a good theory. It's going to remove all ice hockey being played in Canada and permanently eliminate the Stanley Cup. The tariffs Canada charges us for our dairy products have for many years been unacceptable, putting our farmers at great financial risk. I will not allow this bridge to open until the United States is fully compensated for everything we have given them. And also, importantly, Canada treats the United States with the fairness and respect that we deserve. We will start negotiations immediately. With all that we have given them, we should own perhaps at least one half of this asset. The revenues generated because of the U.S. market will be astronomical. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I don't know if they charge them to cross this. That's probably like a toll bridge of some kind, huh? So they're going to own both sides. They charge tolls both sides. That's what he's talking about. So going back into Canada, they'll charge you from America. And going into the United States, Canada gets to keep that money. Trump's like, we should get one side of that. I love what Trump's doing. America first. Canada, we'd love to make you our part of us, frankly. I'd rather for any of my Canucks out there, love you guys. Absolutely love my Canadian people. Your government is fucked, but we love you guys. Mystery biotech explosion kills 8 in China. Company legal rep was apparently arrested. Nobody knows exactly. It's in Shanxi as the company's name in northern China. So, yeah, 8 people were killed. They said it was... It's not necessarily doing anything like illegal that you would think, but I don't trust anything that comes out of China. So nobody really knows what they were making there. Somewhere in here. It occurred at an early hour Saturday. Biotechnology company in Shouju. I'm probably saying it wrong. Anyway, I don't want to say all these words that I can't say, but at 9:30 a.m. Sunday, cause of the incident still under investigation. That's in the mountainous area, more than 40 kilometers from the country seat. It just seems like they were probably making weird shit out there. I don't trust anything they're saying. Oh, we don't have anything crazy there. Yeah, you probably did. Makes me wonder how this explosion happened, whether it was sabotage, whether, you always want to conspiracize a little. I do anyways. Could have been an energy weapon. We could have just been messing with China a little bit. I wonder how that happened. China's like, I bet the U.S. was behind it. Maybe. King Charles III ready to support police investigating his brother. Yeah, the Epstein stuff. So we'll see what happens. Dirty bird. A lot of dirty birds out there in England right now, especially in thumb up butt Keir Starmer. Ooh? Yeah, that guy. U.S. to fund free speech initiatives in Europe. Trump officials are revealing this. It's kind of funny. We're actually going to spend money in Europe to talk about free speech. We're literally going to propagandize Europe about free speech. Think about that. That's what that stupid U.S. radio bullshit was always supposed to be about. So maybe that's what he's doing, and that's where the money's coming from, because they wouldn't let him shut it down completely, I think. So I think Carrie Lake's still got a job over there. She's like, all right, if we're going to be forced to do this, we're going to piss off the deep state with how we do it. So much fun. Now, they're about to try to shut down Twitter. Spain has already done it, I believe. I got crazy stuff going on. We'll see how it all plays out. Macron is reopening direct discussions with Putin. They're just trying to interfere with the peace plan. They're trying to get in close with Putin so they can make sure that Ukraine and Europe's interests are looked out for. Putin knows that it's United States is what it's all about. Russia knows if they wanted to more or less take over Europe, they probably could. I mean, the army, the people on the ground part would be tricky. But they would probably ultimately destroy them with missiles and stuff like that. It would be brutal, like if that's what Putin wanted to do. It's not what he wants to do. All the people that say he wants to do that are lying, which I think is funny. The multipolar world's one thing, but I think they're going to allow sovereignty of other countries. I don't think Putin has any desire. I keep thinking of there's the dude that's related to the first czar of Russia or whatever, Soviet Union it was, I think, maybe. Swerdlow, I think the dude's name is. Anyway, he keeps talking about how, Russia's actually going to do that. And it's like, and he's Russian. But I actually think he's full of shit. I think the dude is so full of shit. That's all. Not trying to be a dick to Swerdlow, but he's so many things. A few things, totally. But that he's spreading all sorts of misinformation. It's probably on purpose. It's possible that the U.S. is going to be adding our nuke arsenal back to England. Apparently that was taken away from them during Obama. Isn't that funny? 17 years ago, interestingly. So Barack Obama withdrew all of our nuclear weapons from England. Isn't that interesting? So we've always had this pretend good relationship. Not sure why we took away their nukes. That is really kind of strange. But whatever. They're working out this deal where they're going to eventually let them get back out there, especially with the 12 F-35s that they have ordered from us. So that is expected to happen, I want to say, like by 2030 or something silly like that. It's like a little ways off. So it wasn't like, it was cool, but it wasn't that cool. I don't know why it's not jumping out at me. Meh. Something to that effect. I read these articles, I swear. Iran's offering to dilute their enriched uranium if the U.S. will lift all the sanctions. They're really, really, really hell-bent on not giving up their missiles. That seems to be a big deal, but again, Trump, the art of the deal, was about you go big, always, and then you negotiate back. So now they're willing to let us, essentially, or to dilute, which I don't know if we'd trust that. Again, trusting Iran, or Israel for that matter, or at least Netanyahu. I mean, they're our best friends, but Netanyahu's, he'll start a war if he feels like he wants to start a war. I mean, we know that. Guy's got no qualms about it. They say there's a ceasefire, and he pointed a gun at me, so we shot him. It just seems to happen a lot. So I don't trust either side, frankly. But Washington's demanded Iran relinquish its stockpile, estimated last year by the UN, which I can't imagine we can trust them either. But their nuclear agency said there is 440 kilograms of enriched uranium up to 60% fissile purity. It's a small step to actually go from 90%. Many would say, it seems like that would be harder. It's actually not. It's much, much harder to get to like the 5%. And then it gets surprisingly easier to get it up further. So it's one of those things that's extraordinarily hard to do up front. And then as you get more and more pure, it actually becomes easier and easier. I don't know. I don't really understand how they do it. I know there's spinning and these centrifuges and probably all sorts of chemicals and weird shit. Definitely not something they taught me in chemistry in college, but needless to say, I was not in a weapons facility. The risk of war with Iran is growing despite talks. RT News is saying. Don't know. We'll see. We got a lot of stuff out there ready to go. And I would assume Trump would be more than happy to send it home if we've got a deal. But that deal's got to be legitimate. My guess is we might take out some of their facilities if they don't. Like, if we have an idea where this stuff's at, we might just take it out and remove the ability for them to have any nuclear material. We were going to dilute it. Not anymore. And if we only do a very precision strike and don't actually harm anyone else, the rest of the Arab world's probably not going to freak out. We'll see. Again, contentious times. Verizon, they're going to face an FCC probe for turning over the GOP lawmakers' phones to the Smith character without fighting it. It was an illegal search warrant, and Verizon's like, yeah, here they are. So, yeah, they're getting sued, which is cool. It's probably Lindsey Graham behind that, I'm sure. At least he can get some money from somebody. Google versus China's cyber weapon. Interestingly, China had infiltrated a lot of Google products. And they put this proxy malware in there, and they're supposedly, Google's hoping to get rid of it. And then hopefully it has already, because it is actually on the Google Droid devices. I don't think Apple's got this problem as much. Well, actually, Apple possibly got a worse problem, but they just don't know because Apple's so closed about how they allow any access to that stuff. The rest of the phones are really kind of open source to a large extent. All that said, this company, IPedia, allegedly has a proxy malware that silently piggybacks on millions of legitimate software downloads by regular U.S. consumers to their phones, tablets, computers, televisions, and projectors. The internet bandwidth of these and other victims is then rented by such proxy networks to malign state actors, criminals, and others seeking to use the internet anonymously. They literally use your bandwidth, your phone, your data, to give it and sell it to others. So they hijack your phone, steal your bandwidth, make money off it, and you pretty much never know it's happening. That's some crazy stuff. Hopefully that's going to go away soon. New images for this Nancy Guthrie thing. Kash Patel put these all out. And again, yeah, I don't know. We got a moving one here too in a second. But this supposedly is the guy. Well, it's got guy written out. You look and see facial hair, it looks like, which might be one of the things that gets him in trouble. They've got eyes on camera too, though the lighting likely making it hard to do true facial recognition, but they've got a lot of face there. I'm surprised they aren't able to do better. This might be something that's meant that you can't really see the ears, so it might be tricky. Those eyes, though, they might be able to figure some stuff out with those eyes. Anyway, whatever the case is, and the rest of it, the mouth. We do have, like I said, I think a little bit of image down here, movement anyways. So this is, I guess, him walking up. And then he knows to block the camera with his hand while he tries to mess around with stuff. But it's weird is he's not really good at it. So it's kind of strange. Then what meanders outside? Very strange. And he picks up, oh, that's maybe to block it? There's another moving video. I think this is when he puts the flowers in front of the camera so they won't be able to see what's happening. Oh, he's got a flashlight maybe? Trying to blind it with a flashlight, and now he's actually managed to cover what I assume is the Ring doorbell. Or some camera, security camera. He's trying. I don't understand why he can't just black it out. Paint, tape, something. How is this any different than just putting tape over it? It doesn't seem very well thought out, kind of, right? Like, it's a camera. You can see the camera. You're monkeying around with it, and you're trying to put flowers over it. That is beyond, that's next level strange. Oh, it was like just over and over watching the same loop. Sorry about that. So yeah, they got, it's a weird guy. There's this FBI former agent saying that it's extraordinarily dark around this house. Zero light pollution pretty much. So a lot of people wondering what's going on. They haven't contacted the family again, or anyone for that matter, since the $6 million ransom deadline passed, came and went. They still have no proof of life, and they don't even know if this was legit. This is so much strangeness around this. I don't know, peoples. And this is kind of cool when it comes to UFO disclosure, though I don't like the lady that's interviewing him. It was her 100 million years ago. I actually liked her back then, but then as I've had the privilege of knowing of her through others, she's a piece of work. That's all I can say. All that said, she's one of the biggest UFO investigators out there. And here's William Tompkin talking about some pretty wild, crazy shiz.
But you do know that reptilians and Draco, the blood sacrifices, the whole Luciferian thing, the kids being killed and eaten, that humans have been eaten and taken off planet, et cetera, and used for slaves and other colonies, etc.
I hate to say that, but that's far worse than what you've just said.
It's far worse.
Yes, far worse.
Far worse, yeah.
And that the whole blood situation is it's unbelievable, and
right.
I don't know how we say that to the public. I don't know how. But wait a minute, just a second. On that part of this whole subject, to me, if we get into that, and I know all about it, okay?
All right.
Far more than you know.
Sure,
all right?
I'm sure.
When we get into that, if we release it, 70-80% of everybody that listens to your program is going to say, you're smoking pot. I don't believe that, and I don't believe anything you people talk about on extraterrestrial. And it's going to kill what disclosure is trying to do. That's my opinion.
You know the pedophilia is starting to be exposed everywhere. You know that much is coming out.
Oh, yeah. But you know the part that I don't want to talk about.
I hear you.
Okay?
Yeah.
The thing that's hard for a lot of us is this is one of the main reasons why many of us got engaged and involved. And so it's the thing that we want to talk about the most. Problem is, it's the thing that is so highly polarizing. It's the hardest thing for others to believe. If you're talking to somebody and you're trying to get them to believe something that they're so far away from, what you want to do is grab belief structures that are a lot closer in proximity to where they are currently than something that's way the hell out here. So be careful when trying to find common ground with people. Jumping straight to the pedophile acrome is not a good approach. Kind of funny point that Will Tompkins is making there. All that said, I'm not surprised with the individual and the direction, and I don't want to get into all the stories. All that said, if she ever ends up on my show, I'm just telling you this publicly, guys, and I'm going to have to explain it if it's going to happen. I'll eat those words, God forbid, but I'll need a damn good reason. But if I ever have her on my show, expect to see me on Dancing with the Stars, like that week. Like my career's over. Like I've done something horribly wrong along the way where I need her on my channel. And I failed somewhere. Guys, we got a lot happening. Things are changing in the world. That's all I can say. We need to help with the elections. We've got to get our elections secure. And I think continuing the Epstein stuff is going to continue, and it's getting people closer to the pedophile stuff. So maybe find that as a common ground. The Epstein stuff. Well, there's all these Epstein files that are coming out, and he had a lot of underage women there that were, 15, 16, and they were doing all sorts of illegal stuff, right? That's a step in the right direction. Maybe even kind of bump into Disney and some of the weird Nickelodeon stories that seem to be coming out. A lot of these things will lead in the direction you'd like to go. Jumping straight to the acrome pedophilia. That's a tougher stretch, is all. And you're going to catch far fewer flies with vinegar than you will with honey. So try to honey it up as best you can, and you will do the most hope that's possible. Always keep in mind your audience, guys. That's a big thing. When you're rippling, if you're just randomly rippling out to the bigger world, and you're actually hoping to find people that will find it and engage with it, you might want to try to narrow it down a little bit, or like I said, try to find a little more of that common ground, get people talking about that, and then you can maybe try to steer into if you'd like, or you can do an extended show or whatever, but just something to keep in mind. We're changing the world, guys. People are waking up. It's a trip how slow it's happening, but you guys are the leading edge of this wing. I'm leaning on all you guys. I love you all. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.